Yo, 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 what's good, Coalition family? This is Gary A. Swaby, and you're about to listen to a sample of True Gamer Stories, which is a show where we talk about our own individual experiences within the gaming industry and certain things that we've, experienced and, just different subject matters from within the industry so that you guys can get an idea of what things are like behind the scenes. On this episode in particular, we're talking about our E3 experiences. So we'll be going through our, first E3 experiences and comparing it to E3 2016 and, what we hope to accomplish at future E3s and where we see the event going in the future and stuff like that. But also look out for a future episode where we'll be talking about being a minority in the gaming industry, and we hope to have my man Tony Polanco on that episode. So yeah, look out for that. This is for the Patreon supporters, so thank you to all the people that support us on Patreon. You will be getting the full episode available today. Thank you very much, and enjoy the sample.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, this particular episode is focused on our E3 experiences. So we're going to be going through our first E3. We're going to go through this year's E3, and we're going to talk about some of our best and worst experiences. And yeah, just basically have a free flow discussion later on as well, just about where we think E3 is going and stuff like that. So yeah, let's see. I'll go to JJ first. So, we're going to start off by talking about our very first E3. So, we're going to go around each person. So just basically state the year that you attended first, and then yeah, just talk about your experience and what it was like being there for the very first time. So,
So
JJ, go
yeah,
ahead.
I mean, my first E3 was 2014. It was this. I'm already now in my 33, but my very first was in 2014. That was the first time I really went to like a really big event with you guys. I know my first industry event was PAX East, but like E3 was like a huge one, and that had been something I've been wanting to do for years, and that was the first opportunity I was able to do so. Uh, Everybody kind of goes, that's part of the industry that really gets in depth with it and like either goes to any one of the major websites or any of the medium-sized websites. They'll always remember their first E3 because either it ends up being one of two things. It's either a comedy of errors or like the greatest thing on the planet because you're at E3, you're playing games or you're seeing games that aren't going to be out for possibly a year, if not longer. You're playing them for the very first time or like one of the first grouping of people in the world, technically, to play certain games for the very first time, in their infantile state, whether it's alpha, beta, or demo-like state. And it's very cool. Like, I had some really awesome memories of playing games that have been out for a while that ended up being really fun hits, when they released to the general public, like Splatoon. That was the first time I think that was the first playable demo, to the public of Splatoon, where at E3 at the Nintendo booth, they had it lined up with a bunch of Wii U's, all connected, I guess, via Wi-Fi or whatnot. And we were able to play multiplayer Splatoon for the first time. And it was one of those things where we didn't know what exactly it was, but once you played it, it was like, oh, this is pretty cool. This is pretty interesting. This is different from Nintendo. And there were moments like that. I mean, the same thing also playing games like Bayonetta 2 for the first time. That stuff like that was fun. There was a whole bunch of games. And even just, going to the press conferences was another thing. That was the first year I went to all the press conferences. A lot of special memories from that time.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna try and get inside your head a little bit about, your experience, your experience there. So, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
sure.
ask a series of questions about your first time. So we all get it, the very first time you get to LA, you step off the plane. I think that year, 2014, I think I was the last one to get there. I think you guys were already there, so I'm not sure in which order you arrived, but once you've landed and you've hooked up with everyone, like please explain like your whole thought process from landing to getting in the shuttle and getting on the way to the hotel or wherever it is we go next. Like what's going through your head, from the moment you touch down in LA.
Well, I remember that vividly. I remember I was the second to last person to get there. I got there right before you, and I know we had to wait in like the baggage claim or like the front entrance area because you had to go through customs because you were coming into the country. And I remember that specifically because it was me, Rich, I believe it was Ed, and like one or two other people.
Garrett.
One or two other
Garrett,
people. I think Garrett. Yeah, that we were all there. We were just talking. We were there for like maybe 45 minutes to an hour, waiting for you to get through customs and stuff. And it was just fun. Like when I got off the plane, or at least when I was landing. I know when I was in the plane, flying up in the air, all throughout the entire time in my head, I'm like, oh, finally, this is something I've been wanting to do for years, and this is something that nobody's going to be able to take this away from me. I'm going to E3. Some people don't even get to